What's up guys, it's Cobalt here and welcome back to another video. Believe it or not, I've been posting Little Pet Shop videos on YouTube for like 10 years and I've been collecting for even longer. And today, I desperately need to clean my room and reorganize my LPS collection because it's kind of a disaster right now. So I figured that this would be the best opportunity to finally give you guys a look at my collection and show you guys how I display them and how I'm going to be reorganizing them all in this video. This video is definitely going to be on the longer side, so feel free to put me on in the background while you do something else. You could draw, you could work on LPS customs. That's usually what I do when I'm watching YouTube videos. You're going to see that G7 LPS make up quite a big portion of my collection, and I'll put some links down below in the description where you can buy some of the pets from the current wave. But without further ado, let's finally get right on into it. Alright, so here is the filming table where I was just filming. Basically, I have Littlest Pet Shops displayed in 3 different areas of my room. The first one, of course, being this little display. You can see there's a couple pets missing and everything in the front is kind of a pile, and then there are all of these guys down here that need to find homes. This is basically where I like to put all of my favorite Littlest Pet Shops and my collies, of course. And then the rest of my collection on display is over here on this bookshelf. So the top shelf is the rest of my main 5 pets, along with my Cobalt stuff and some of my other favorite LPS. And again, this pile, I don't know why I put those there. And then down here is just the rest of the ones that I've chosen to put on display. It's mostly cats and dogs, but then I've included some others. And for example, I've got a bunch of deer back there. And while I do really love the deer LPS, I don't need to display all of them. So I think my plan as far as reworking this display is really only choosing to put up the ones that I actually really like and want access to all the time. Because then the rest of my Littlest Pet Shops are inside that box. And here they are. Let's take a look. This box is so much heavier than I remember. I haven't picked it up in a while, but it's pretty full. I actually got this box in a package from Littlest Pet Shop a couple years ago, and this video is in collaboration with them, so I thought that it would be fitting to finally take a look at everybody that I've just thrown in here. There are quite a few G7 pets, but I think the way that I'm gonna go about this is dumping all of this out, taking everything off of my displays, and putting them all into piles based on what mold or what animal they are, and then from there I will choose the ones that I actually like enough to put on display, and then the rest will just go back in the box. Okay, so here are pretty much all of my LPS laid out, aside from my main 5s and the ones from my favorites shelf, which we'll work on organizing last. But I have so many birds, which is crazy because I'm not even that big of a fan of LPS birds. They're probably my least favorite. And then clearly the most that I have are the dogs. There is a whole mountain of dogs right here. And I have a surprising amount of turtles too. So I haven't really organized them based off of mold yet. I'll do that when I actually am putting them up on my shelf. But for now, I pretty much just organize them by species. And now I'm going to go through each pile and decide which ones are staying and which ones are going in the box. So this may be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I don't really like the fish or the bugs all that much, so I don't think any of these guys are getting displayed. And that's not to say that I don't like them. Like this fish that I was just picking up is like my favorite LPS fish, but I just generally prefer the mammals because those are the pets that I want to use in my videos or usually use for custom. So unfortunately, both of these piles are going in the box.
birds are next because, again, I don't think there's anything here that I would display. I do really love these three. Like, they're super cute, but I don't think that I'm gonna have space on the shelf considering how many cats and dogs I do have. And I'm most likely gonna display all of those ones, so unfortunately, all of the birds are also going in the box. Okay, next we're gonna eliminate a really small pile. Apparently I only have 3 walruses, and these guys are all going in the box as well. Same with my koalas, because this is apparently the only koala that I have currently. So I guess I'm just gonna go through all the smaller piles while we're at it. I do really like the beavers, so for now I'm gonna keep them out here, but if they don't fit on the shelf, then I'll put them in the box. Here's my small little collection of giraffe LPS. I'm gonna put all of them in the box except for this one, which is my favorite. I don't really know why he's my favorite, but I just think he has really cute eyes. And same for the possums, all of them are going in, aside from the gray one, unless I don't have space for her. Here are my 2 kangaroo LPS. I love the G2 one that I have, but I think that this G5 one is also so cute. If you couldn't tell from the pets that you've seen in my collection, I collect all generations of LPS aside from G3, and generally I feel like my display is only G2 and G7, but in some cases I will display G5/G6, and this is one of the ones that will get displayed if there's space for her. Same goes for my goat LPS as well. I have 4 of them, and I will be making an effort to display all of them aside from this one right here, because she's pretty similar to the pink goat that I already have, and I'm just not a huge fan of this one. And I want to display my bull LPS as well. I also have the G2 bull, but he goes in my favorites display, and I have 2 of this G7 one. They're both slightly different, so I need to determine which one I'm actually going to keep and which one I can just customize. Then I have a bunch of llamas. I really love all of the llamas that I have, so I think I'll try to display all of them, but there are a couple that I could technically put in the box, probably these 2, just because I don't like them as much as the other ones, but I do want to display all of them because I think all of their colors look really nice together and they're really cute. I'm just going to keep going through the smaller categories. These are my 2 lamb LPS, one is G7 and one is G2. I'm going to put both of them in the box simply because I often get commissioned to use lamb bases, and worst comes to worst, these 2 can be sacrificed, so they'll just stay in the box until I need them for something. Here are my 2 sugar glider LPS. I think I want to display the purple one and put the orange one in the box, but worst case scenario, I'll just put them both in there. Then we have my squirrels. I'm going to keep the 2 baby ones on display and put this one in the box. Okay, here are some of my new G7 molds, the pangolin and the kawaka. I haven't decided where I want to put these ones, so I might just save them to put them in the very top of the box if they don't fit on the display. But unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the sloth LPS. These guys are all going in the box. I tried to give them a chance, but I just really don't like these guys, I'm going to be so honest. Here are my 3 anteaters. All of them are going in the box, aside from this guy, which is one of the most recent LPS that I got in a trade with a friend of mine. He is very cute. Here are all of my donkey LPS that I will be putting in the box, although I do really like them. My personal favorite is the zebra one. I honestly still think that using the donkey mold to create a zebra was a genius idea. Now I'm going to take a look at my raccoons. I actually have a lot more raccoons than I was expecting. This is my favorite one, so he is absolutely staying in the display. And these are the other 4 that I have. I think they're all going to go in the box, although I do like this one a lot, so she's going to go on display if I have room for her. Here are my capybaras. I'm going to put all of these in the box, but I do have one that goes in my favorites display, which you'll see later. Here are 2 more LPS that I only have one of, my armadillo and my hedgehog. Hedgehog's going in the box, armadillo is going on display. Then here are my cows. Again, super surprised that I only have 3 of them. This middle one is going in the box simply because I'm not a fan of her eyes, and this guy's definitely going on display because he's a really nostalgic LPS from my childhood, and I think this one I will add if there's room. Next up, we've got chinchillas. Again, we're kind of going to go half and half with these guys. This one is my favorite, so he's absolutely getting displayed. These 2 I will display if there's room for them, and these 2 are going in the box. Here are all of my rhino LPS. I have 4 of them. These 2 are going in the box, and these 2 are getting displayed. My only elephant is sadly going into the box, and I'm putting this hippo in there as well, although I do have another hippo LPS that goes in my favorites section. Of course, all of my alligators are getting displayed as well. It is still so crazy to me how much smaller the G7 ones look compared to the G2 ones. Moving on to my iguanas. All of these ones are going in the box, although I do have one of my favorites to display, and I really like these guys. I just feel like they don't really fit with the rest of the pets that I choose to display, and they're not really ones that I'd want to grab for videos or anything. And here are all the ones with the other iguana mold. I actually am going to display some of these though, because I really like these guys. My two G2 ones are getting displayed, and these ones from G7 are going in the box. Okay, so since we were talking about lizards, I guess I'll just go through the rest of the lizards. Here are all of my axolotls. I do love them, but sadly they are going in the box. I also love the chameleons. So this one here, I'm actually going to be adding to my favorites display. I really love this one. I think it's so cool. And I actually have two other chameleons over there as well. So the one that's already over there is the G2 version of this green one, which is why I'm putting the G7 one in the box. And the other chameleon that I already have displayed is my double of this purple one. And the reason that I have two of them is because this one is missing his stars that go like right here, and the other one isn't. So I thought that was funny, which is why I'm keeping both of them, but this one is going into the box. One more lizard that I almost forgot. This is one of the textured geckos, and he's really cool, but guess what? He's going in the box. I have way more turtles than I thought I did. I think all of them are going to go in the box, but this little guy right here is my favorite one. Here are my two bat LPS. They're both different molds, but obviously I gotta display both of these guys because they are so cool. Okay, so we're gonna go through all of my pig LPS now because I also do surprisingly have a lot of them. Most of them are going in the box, but there's a couple that I want to display, and that's gonna be these two. The orange one is very nostalgic for me, and then the other one I just think is super cute. These pets are pretty interesting. They're some of the hard plastic cake toppers or promo pets. You can see some of the info here on the back. And then I have one of the pig triplets too, which is so cute. Now it's time for all the frogs. Unfortunately, I don't have room to display these guys, but these three are my favorite. I just think that their colors stand out a lot, and I love their little spots. Next up, we have otters and ferrets, which I kind of just grouped together because they're very similar. I'm going to be displaying as many of them as I possibly can, but I think the two that I'm putting in the box are going to be these ones. Well, I do think this red one is super cute. I just don't really like the positioning of the body for it and would never really use it for anything. And then since I'm assuming that I won't have a ton of space, I'm not crazy about this one's design, so she doesn't need to be displayed either. This is another one of those cake topper pets that I mentioned earlier, and he's in super good condition, so I'm going to display him just so he doesn't get all scratched up. Okay, let's go through the horses next. Here are the Clydesdale horses. I'm going to display all of these because I really like the mold. And then as for my normal horses in my collection, I'm only going to be displaying this one because I'm just not a huge fan of this mold or a lot of the designs that they have. Okay, so only a few more piles before we reach the cat and the dogs. I'm going to take care of the mice and other rodents out of the way first. Unfortunately, all of these guys are going in the box. Although I do really love these three. They are just the tiniest guys ever, and they're so cute. Alright, now let's talk about my deer LPS. Like I hinted at earlier, some of these are staying, some of them are going in the box. These two with their little antlers, I am definitely keeping on display because I love their colors so much. Same goes for the orange one and maybe the pink one. I think she's going to get displayed if there's room, but the orange one for sure. And then as for G2 deer go, I'm displaying these two. This brown one here is my favorite deer of all time. She's actually one of my little LPS characters who I named Lola, and I love her so much. And then I also want to display my G5/G6 caribou with the fuzzy antlers because I think this is also a very cute mold. I almost forgot about these guys. I also have a ton of monkeys. My favorite monkey bases are the baboons. My other two are already on display with my favorites, but I don't really like this pink one as much, so it is going to go in the box. I really like these guys, along with all of my little purple monkeys. I have all the triple monkeys as well, and I just love this little guy's pose so much. He's so cute. And then honorable mention for the G5/G6 one as well. I love his neon color, and I love all the fluffy details they added to the mold, but I think all of the monkeys are going to go in the box because I know that I'm just not going to have room for them. Okay, then we have all of my bear LPS, which again, this is going to be a mix of who gets to stay and who gets to go. I love the standing pandas, so I want to try my best to display these. I also really love the bear cubs. Out of all of these four, the blue one is my favorite, but I do have the original full set of pet triplets from G2, and those go on display in my favorites section. I think I'm going to display these guys too, because like I said, they're super cute. I do have a special display for a lot of my other G7 pandas. Unfortunately though, I think all of the rest are going to have to go in the box. But I do have one LPS polar bear, and this is one of my favorite LPS of all time, so obviously this one has to get displayed. And then finally, aside from cats and dogs, we have all of my bunnies. All of these guys are going to go in the box though. Okay, let's tackle the cats now. So I'm just going to be kind of going through these one by one. I definitely want to display all of my lucky cats because this is one of my favorite bases, so let's set all of these guys to the side. I do have one G2 lucky cat who needs a ton of TLC, and I do plan on fixing her up in a video, so I want to make sure that she has a spot on the shelf as well for when she is done being recustomized. And this is another one of my LPS OCs. His name is Kyle, so he's obviously going on the shelf as well. I also want to display all of my Scottish folds because I really like this mold too, and of course that also includes displaying the G5/G6 Scottish folds because they're also really adorable. I have a lot of lions too that I want on display even though they're super big. I think this one's probably going to go in the box though. I do really love him, but he was one of the older flocked LPS, but you can see a lot of the flocking has been removed, so he needs to be cleaned up a lot, but eventually I would like to put him on the display. He just doesn't need to be there right now. This is a G5 LPS with a fluffy tail. I think this is one of the cutest LPS molds ever made in general, so obviously she's getting displayed. And another one of my favorite molds are the Jaguars, so gotta display all of these as well. I'm definitely not eliminating a lot of the cats, but I clearly had enough space for them before, so I think I can fit everybody back in, but I want to keep all of my Bonbon cat molds as well. These are some of my favorite Littlest Pet Shops too. Here's another one of my favorites. I don't think I've ever used him as a character in a video, but his name is Toby. The wolf cats are obviously also all getting displayed. I have a bunch on my favorites display as well, just because, again, they're one of my favorite molds. I think this G7 LPS is my only other Angora cat besides Kyle, so I think I gotta display her as well to give him a little friend to sit next to. This is one of the LPS with hair. Obviously, I cut the hair off because those ones are kind of disgusting to me. I think this one has a really cool design, but it's gonna go in the box. I also want to display all of my Himalayan cats. I only have the G7 one so far, but someday I would love to get a G2 one. I want to display these guys too. They have short hair cat bodies, but different heads. I didn't even realize that I gave them matching collars, but these are my two walking cats. At least that's what I call them because it looks like they're walking. Gonna display these guys because I really love their colors and their designs. Here's another G5 pet. Not gonna display her, but obviously she's in my collection because I think she's really cute. Can't forget about the Persian cats. I love these LPS. And this one's getting displayed for sure. He's another one of those promo pets or cake toppers that I mentioned earlier, and as far as I know, this one's pretty rare. It's supposed to look like one of those Magic Motion pet molds, but he does not have the Magic Motion feature. I just think that his colors are really cool. We need more brown cat LPS. These are all of my crouching cats. If I have the room, I want to display all of them, but if not, I'll probably just choose a couple. We'll worry about that later though. I think these two are going to go in the box. I think that the sticker-eyed cat is really silly, and I do like having it in my collection. Same with this pink one. I think it's cute as well, but I could see myself potentially customizing both in the future if I need to, so that's where they're going to go in the box and not on display. And then the rest of the cats here are all of my kittens, which I love, so obviously I got to display all of them no matter what. Okay, now it is time to conquer Dog Mountain. I do have all of my husky puppies in this pile, but all of my other huskies are in a separate pile because they go in the shelf with my main 5 pets and all my Cobalt stuff, and then all of the German Shepherds with this base also go there because it is my favorite base aside from sharks and collies. Okay, so just like the cats, I'm keeping most of these guys, but I feel like there's probably gonna be a few more dogs that I eliminate here. Obviously, everybody who's a husky puppy gets to stay in the display. Same with the triplet puppies as well, just all the puppies in general are staying on the shelf. And this little pet up here is kind of the one that my brother has used to represent himself anytime that he's been in a video. So if anybody wants to know, Cobalt canonically has a brother, and it is this little pet shop, and his name is Ash. Here's one of the very first little pet shop dog molds, and while he's objectively a silly little guy, he is going in the box because he's also a little bit weird looking, and I can't really say that I'm a fan. These two G5/G6 mop dogs are also going in the box, and same with this Great Dane. Sometimes I think he's cute, sometimes I think he's ugly. I think in general, I just don't really know what they were going with when they designed this guy. I'm not really a big fan of these poodle molds, so unfortunately they're all going in the box, but I do really like these poodles, so she gets to stay. This one's also very cute. A random cat has infiltrated this pile, but she's gonna get displayed too. This is a G7 LPS that I repainted his eyes. He's supposed to be a character in an upcoming series that I'm trying to make, so he gets displayed. Here's a flocked pug from G5. I'm gonna display him too, just so that his flocking doesn't get messed up or anything. He is a little bit dusty though, that's for sure. And I've got to display all of my foxes. I love the fox LPS. Here's the newest original mold for G7. I still think this dog is so cute, so she's getting displayed. I know I have 2 of them in this pile. One is the KX one and the other is the ES one. I couldn't decide which one I like better, so I'm just gonna display both of them next to each other. I'm also gonna display all of my Basset hounds. I think this is the only other one I have. I also got him super recently, and apparently he's pretty rare. Here's another recent pet I got. It's this bull terrier who I've wanted for so long. She is so pretty. The other bull terrier that I really want is the purple one, but for now, this is the only one that I have in my collection, and she's getting displayed, obviously. Here's another one of those weird promo pets. Her colors are so crazy, and I do not like this mold, but I think she's such an interesting pet that I've chosen to keep her in my collection. She's not getting displayed though. Here's more of these guys. I think I'm just gonna display all of them if I have the room for them. I also want to display all of my Jack Russells, even though they fall over constantly. And I think with those, I'm gonna display most of my Dalmatians. There's some that I don't like, but this is like a Jack Russell interpretation of the Dalmatian mold. I think this one's probably gonna go in the box though. Not too crazy about this dog mold, so all of them are getting the box treatment. And same goes for these ones. And then all of my bulldogs are gonna go in the box, aside from this guy, who is another one of my favorite LPS. Even though I generally don't really like this mold, I really love his colors and his green eyes. I think it's really unique and original from a bunch of other pets. And somebody told me this was once a Costco exclusive, but correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Here's another one of those weird dogs, which is gonna go in the box. There's also this husky. I really like the colors and the 2 different colored eyes, but I do not like this mold. I do remember though that this one was a Toys R Us exclusive, so that's why I keep him, but he is gonna go in the box. Okay, I know I literally said all of the puppies are going on display, but I'm not a huge fan of the sticker-eyed one, so he's gonna go in the box as well. And these are also some of the LPS that once had hair, and guess what? They're also going in the box. Not enough people talk about them, but the G6 Cocker Spaniel molds were so cute. I'm gonna put them in the box, but I just wanted you guys to know about their existence. All right, then we got Pomeranians, most of which are going on display, but I think there's a couple that I'm just gonna keep in the box, which are these 3. The sticker-eyed one kind of has a broken neck, so she doesn't really bobble anymore, and the other 2, I just don't like their designs as much. I know I do have 2 of them. One of them is KX and the other is ES. I thought they looked different enough to keep both, but they're all gonna go in the box. I absolutely love the Labradoodle molds, so both of these guys are getting displayed for sure. I'm also a huge fan of my Corgis, so they're going on display as well. This is the only Corgi that I have in this mold style, but she is so cute. Definitely one of my favorite Corgis of all time, so very glad that I own her. I also have one of the G5/G6 Corgis, and she's really cute too, so I think I'm gonna display her if there's room. I've got some Chihuahuas. I think I'm gonna split it up here, so these 2 are going on display, and this one's gonna go in the box. I do also have this one, which was the other Chihuahua mold. I actually got this one at a flea market a couple months ago, which is pretty cool because I don't often find older LPS in the wild, but I think I'm gonna put this one in the box because she's kind of weird looking. I don't know. I almost forgot about this one. I'm gonna display this one with my Jack Russells, but it's a little head swap that I did of a Jack Russell head on a Golden Retriever body, just because I thought that it fit really well to be an original character. This one really needs to be washed though. They are super dirty. Another LPS that I think is extremely underrated is the G5 St. Bernard. First off, amazing colors, but she's so cute. I love how sturdy the body seems, and just like the pose and everything, and I love the extra fur. So cute. Obviously got to display this one. I think I'll try to display all of my St. Bernards, so I have these guys, and then this one, which is my absolute favorite. He reminds me of the raccoon that I talked about earlier in the video. And here's my wolf dog with the extremely squishy head. I have 2 more of these guys that already go on display with the rest of my huskies, so I'm just gonna put this one in the box. Here are all of my other German Shepherds. These ones are going on display too. They are so cute, and I feel like these ones are all in really good condition. I will also be trying my best to display all of my Beagles, although this one right here is my favorite. Then I have all different kinds of pugs, but here are my 2 ES and KX G7 pugs. I still think that the difference in airbrushing is insane, so they are both getting displayed next to each other. Almost forgot about this guy, but I love him a lot too. These ones are a lot older too. They're all G1 with the red magnet. I'm gonna put all of these in the box, but I wanted to show you them anyways. I really like these poodles though. They're very cute. This is my only sheepdog, but I also love her a lot. I think her colors are really pretty. I almost forgot about this Chihuahua. It's got metallic paint, but I'm gonna put it in the box anyways. These are the only other Golden Retrievers I have right now. They're both like G5, G6. I'm gonna put this one in the box and then keep this one on display because again, I think the mold is super cute. Look at all those extra fur details. It's so cool. Here's some more pets from that generation that are also gonna go in the box. You know what? I lied. I actually do have a G2 Golden Retriever. I got her pretty recently, and as a kid, this was one of my dream LPS, so clearly I'm underappreciating her now, but she is very pretty. And this is my one and only Greyhound currently. He's got a little birthmark here that makes him different from all the other LPS. I'm gonna display my King Charles Spaniel LPS because I also really like these ones. And finally, for the dogs, I have the rest of these like fluffy ones, and I think I'm going to display all of them if there's room. All right, so now I'm gonna organize this pile a little bit further to see who can actually make it onto the shelf, and after that, I will organize all of the main 5 pets for the upper shelf. Okay, so the state of the shelf right now is a little bit wild, but these are all the other things that belong here aside from my main 5s and the other special LPS. There's actually 2 other G7 dogs that I need to add down here, but it is full, so I have to do some more reorganizing off camera. But basically on this side, that's where the sharks go, and on this side is where the Cobalt army goes. Most of these things were gifts for me. It's a lot of customs that other people have made, and then some other things that are just like Cobalt lookalikes that I put here. So once I get all of that organized, then I can add my main 5 collection.
And with that, my new display is pretty much complete. Again, it's in 3 different sections of my room, but I really do like the way that it is displayed. Ideally, I would love to display all of my little pet shops, but unfortunately, I just do not have the space. And obviously, as you can kind of tell, there's quite a few other things that I also like to have on display in my room. In case you're curious at all about my little setup, the wooden shelves that my LPS are displayed on in the larger sections, those are actually spice racks that I purchased at Target. And then for kind of like my favorites display, the little brown wooden shelf there is actually like a drawer organizer for silverware, and then everything that they're sitting on top of is another organizer that I bought at the Container Store where I put all of my LPS accessories, and it works really well. But that's kind of overflowing too, so honestly, if you guys enjoyed this video, maybe I can do another one in the future where I reorganize all of the LPS accessories. But obviously, with the way everything is set up now, it's still pretty jam-packed, so anytime I get new LPS that I'm going to want to display, I'll probably have to do a little bit more reorganizing. But again, I've been collecting for such a long time, and I'm pretty happy with the way that my collection is. Obviously, there's a ton of LPS that I still want to add, but I really do like a lot of the ones that I have, and a lot of them are from my childhood, so they're still super nostalgic for me. And I even have a lot of pets that have been like passed down to me from friends who have kind of grown out of their LPS and have gifted me their collection. But I'd say the main place where I do end up finding LPS, especially ones from older generations, are off of eBay. A lot of people always ask me this, and prices are a little bit inflated right now, I'll be so honest. But your best bet is definitely looking for lots online. You can usually find some pretty good LPS when you're buying in bulk like that. But anyways, that's enough talk about me. I want to know down below in the comments, how do you guys display your LPS collections, and what's one LPS from your collection that you would say is probably your favorite? Thank you again to Littlest Pet Shop for collaborating with me on this video. Again, links down below in the description where you can buy some of the newest wave, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!